Hello, my name is Karsten from Vector Culture, and today I'll tell you about 3 rideshare apps that you can download from the Play Store to make taking a taxi easier when you travel to East Africa. Whenever I'm traveling, I usually am a little bit nervous about taxis. It makes me a little bit anxious, security, price of the ride, and other things, other logistical problems. So today we'll talk about 3 services: Dhaweeye, Safar Taxi, and Sahal Taxi. All of these services require a phone number that's linked to your ID, and it's the same for the drivers. So these rideshare apps are like Uber or Lyft. So the driver's identity, phone number, and vehicle are in the system of these apps, and your name, your full name, phone number, and identification information are also in the system. So it keeps it safe for everybody. They work just like Lyft and Uber. You can download them from the App Store. So one note before I get started, I know in America with Uber and Lyft, the common practice is to get a ride and then have them come to you, and the only reason they ever call you is if they can't find you. However, in Hargeisa, the common practice is once you get a ride, you're connected with the driver, they will call you. So once they call you, then you can tell them where you are, either using a landmark or if you're at like your own office or your own house, ask a Somali speaker to help you. Everybody who I've met has been more than willing to help. So I will be using 5 criteria to rate these apps. The first one is the ease of use of the app itself. How easy is it to use the rideshare app? How user-friendly is it? Second, we have availability of drivers. How easy is it to find a driver when you need one? Then we have wait time for pickup. How long will you be waiting once you are connected with the driver? The professionalism of the driver. How professional are they? How courteous, friendly? And then cost. How much does it cost? Each of these will get a letter grade, A being the best, F being the worst. The first app I'll be rating is the most widely used. It's kind of, if you think of it like the Uber of apps in East Africa, Dhaweeye. Dhaweeye is a fun name because Dhaweeye in Somali means to approach or come closer. It's used in the translation of welcome, so dawo. So the app is named after the verb to bring you closer. So to download the app, just go to the Play Store. I have an Android device, but it also works on iPhones. Type in Dhaweeye, and then if you want, you can add taxi afterward just to make sure. The app looks like this. You download, and then for Dhaweeye, you do need a Telesom SIM card. It will not work with other cell phone companies. So once you download the app, you type in your phone number, your Telesom phone number, and they will send you a verification code. If your SIM card is in the phone you're using with the app, then it will automatically fill in. If it doesn't, you can enter the code manually. So if you have an account with Telesom, they already have your identification. For me, it's my passport, full name, and phone number. And then the drivers have to go through a similar process to register as drivers. Actually, a more rigorous one, because as you'll see, we have the information of the vehicle once we order the Dhaweeye. So as you can see here, we have a map of some cars. I have quite a few cars close to me. Then you hit this button to order a ride, and it's looking for a driver, and here you can see we found a driver. Once you have found a driver, you will get a phone call. As you can see, when you're done, just like with Lyft and Uber, you can rate your driver. So I always give 5 stars. I used to drive Uber and Lyft for some extra money when I was a student. So I always like to pay it forward, give 5 stars unless there's something really wrong with the ride. So overall, ease of use of the Dhaweeye app, I give it an A. Availability of drivers, also an A. It's always easy to find a driver with Dhaweeye through the app. For wait time, I have to say B, because sometimes drivers have trouble finding me when I'm at my work, at my school. But Dhaweeye has so many drivers, it's not a huge problem, because if the first driver you get doesn't know where you are, you can always order another one. And then the professionalism of the driver. The driver I had was very professional, courteous. Different drivers at least know enough English to get you from point A to point B. And the car I rode in this time was clean. And finally, cost. The minimum cost for a Dhaweeye trip is 10,000 shillings about. It's just a hair over 10,000 shillings, which is like $1.25. So any trip under a kilometer is rounded up to that, so that's very affordable. The next rideshare app I'm reviewing is Safar Taxi. Safar is through Somtel, so you do need a Somtel SIM card. It will not work with Telesom. But when you get to the country, usually you have both SIM cards anyway. Most people have both. So it's a good backup to have 2 SIM cards and 2 phone numbers anyway. So Safar means trip. So like think safari, or like when you're traveling in Somali. So in Somali, Safar Bangale means I took a trip or I went on vacation. It's kind of interesting that the name relates to traveling. Safar Bangale, I took a trip, I traveled. So when you download Safar, you can also do it from the App Store or from the Play Store. I downloaded it from the Play Store because I have an Android. So it's easy, just type in Safar Taxi and the logo looks like this. And you can download, just like with Dhaweeye, the app looks like this. Once you download it, you have to verify your phone number in a similar way to Dhaweeye. Dhaweeye, you verify with your Telesom number, Safar Taxi with your Somtel number. They'll send you a code, just like when you're using Uber and Lyft. So today I'm trying a Safar Taxi. I found one pretty quickly. It's a Monday in the middle of the morning, about 9:15. So the ride's on its way, and as far as ride availability, it was pretty good. Oh. Hello? Okay. Okay, sekitar Nordin hosti saban juga. Komforta. Okay, Hagaspan juga. That's it. So, as you can see, I can also rate my driver. I always give the 5 stars. Just, trying to pay it forward from my college days as a rideshare driver. So, using the Safar app can be a little bit unintuitive. It knows where you are, but you have to make sure the flag is on your location. So if you zoom out to try and find other taxis or zoom and move the map, it moves the flag. So you have to make sure that you confirm your pickup where the flag is. Availability of drivers was pretty low. Depending on what time of day, it can be possible to not be able to find a driver. But if you're in busy times, in busy places, then you can find a driver. So after a few minutes of looking, I was able to connect with the driver. Thankfully, he understood my Somali, and after I got the phone call, after I found a driver and he called me, the wait time to pick up was very short. And then this driver, just like the Dhaweeye driver, this driver was very professional, this Safar taxi driver. And as far as the cost, they're about the same. This one was a little bit longer than a minimum trip, but it still costs maybe about $2 to get all the way downtown. So both apps are affordable, Objectively and then relatively, they're about the same. So I will give it a B for ease of use, C for availability of drivers, but an A for wait time before pickup, and professionalism of the driver, and cost. The last rideshare app I'll be rating today is Sahal Taxi. Sahal has a bus service too, which I really loved. This was the first time I tried to use the taxi service. You can also, just like with Dhaweeye and Safar, you go to the App Store, type in Sahal Taxi, and the app looks like this. I don't actually know if it requires Telesom or Somtel or if you can use both, but I used my Telesom SIM card for this video. This app, just like Safar, was a little bit difficult to use. This one was intuitive, but it was a little bit slow. There was a bit of a lag. Also, as with Safar, sometimes it's possible to not find a driver at all. You'll have to just wait 15 or 20 minutes. But eventually when I did get the driver, he went directly to my office and picked me up pretty quickly. He was professional, just like the other two drivers. Every rideshare driver I've met for this video has been very professional. And so, as you can see, I can also rate my driver. I always give the 5 stars, just trying to pay it forward from my college days as a rideshare driver. And then the cost was about the same. This one was also a minimum, so it cost around 10,000 shillings, or like $1.25, which I think is very reasonable, objectively, and relatively, compared to the other two, it's pretty much the same. So I will give it a B for ease of use, C for availability of drivers, but an A for wait time before pickup, and professionalism of the driver, and cost. So if you are coming to East Africa, I recommend downloading 2 or all 3 of these apps. It's nice to have a backup. Dhaweeye is my go-to, but I will be exploring all 3 in the coming months. Dhaweeye, you'll always be able to find a driver, and then if you have trouble, or if your driver has trouble finding your location, you can always cancel the trip and find another driver. So Dhaweeye, the nice thing, drivers are always available. Safar is good. I've used Safar as backup for Dhaweeye when maybe a Safar driver is closer than a Dhaweeye driver. And then Sahal Taxi, I really love their bus service, and I think they're growing. So both Safar and Sahal are kind of like in the same position as Lyft. They're growing, so they're not quite as big as Dhaweeye yet. So as they grow, I'll continue to use their services and continue to see them as they develop as businesses. If you're a working professional like me, no need to worry. There are several different rideshare apps that are easy to use, reliable, and that will make your life easier in Hargeisa. I really hope you liked the video, and I plan on reviewing other services, apps, and other things in Hargeisa in the coming weeks and months.